Childhood Development at Scale Bharats framework offers the first government-audited global model Indian innovation, funded by 2 state governments, empirically tested across 19 million therapies, now ready to address the 9.8 trillion global child development crisis. Bharat's pinnacle child development system, formally sponsored and independently verified by Telangana and Andhra Pradesh's Health and Education Mission, the world's first scientifically tested, economically scalable, and globally deployable solution to the persistent child development crisis that is affecting more than 500 million families globally. Bharat's pinnacle child development framework, officially endorsed by Telangana Andhra Pradesh, is the world's first state-verified, economically scalable solution. With Germany's 800 bid expiring September 2025, global adoption is urgent. The world didn't notice it happening, but nearly 1 billion children, 1 in 5 globally, are quietly slipping through humanity's fingers, from rural Uganda to urban Chicago, from Tokyo's kindergartens to Kenya's slums. Children with autism, speech delay, ADHD, and developmental impairments are growing up unseen, unheard, and unsupported. Their parents wait years for diagnosis. Their countries lose billions in unrealized potential. Their futures collapse before they begin. Each year, the global economic loss from untreated developmental disorders crosses G.8 trillion, more than the GDP of Germany and India combined. Yet the world still lacks a scalable, evidence-based, and equity-driven solution. The World Health Organization, UNICEF, CDC, and leading health systems have acknowledged critical failure points into this vacuum. An unlikely solution has emerged, not from Silicon Valley, Geneva, or London, but from Bharat, India. Quietly and without fanfare, 2 politically opposed state governments, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, undertook independent audits of an indigenous child development framework pioneered by Pinnacle Bloom's network. Their findings: 1 million therapy sessions, audited G7 clinical success rate, validated 214 crore in healthcare savings, documented 44,000 rural children reached across underserved zones, diagnostic delay slashed from 14 months to just 17 days. What they validated was more than a therapy model, it was a globally deployable blueprint for solving the world's most invisible crisis. Anchored in 2 core innovations: ability score, the world's first developmental biomarker score, and therapeutic AI and AI-driven intervention engine, Bharat now offers the world an institutionally proven, economically scalable, and culturally adaptable solution. This is not nationalism. This is human progress verified. As Germany races to license the model, and Kenya begins replication, the world now stands at a crossroads point. 2 states audited it. 130 million citizens endorsed it. G00 million families await it. The choice isn't about ideology. It's about whether the global community chooses action or delay, hope or loss, children or silence. The global child development crisis is one of the most widespread and underaddressed humanitarian emergencies of our time, and yet, it remains invisible in global health priorities. According to the World Health Organization (WHO) and UNICEF, an estimated 240 million children globally live with neurodevelopmental disorders such as autism spectrum disorder (ASD), speech and language delays (ADHD), and cognitive impairments. Expanded indicators reveal that nearly 1 in every 5 children experiences some form of developmental delay, and the consequences are not just clinical. They are macroeconomic, intergenerational, and global. the World Bank estimates a staggering G.8 trillion in annual global economic losses stemming from untreated developmental disorders, a figure that includes healthcare costs, caregiver burden, productivity decline, education attrition, and lost human capital. UNESCO reports that neurodevelopmental conditions are among the leading barriers to universal education and inclusion, directly impeding the world's ability to achieve multiple sustainable development goals (SDGs) by 2030. Yet despite decades of funding, research, and declarations, the global system is failing to mount a coordinated, scalable, and equitable response. The failure of existing global frameworks. Major international institutions who NIH, CDC, UNICEF have all contributed interventions, but they are riddled with implementation gaps. Children with developmental disabilities are among the most marginalized and excluded, and yet, they are the least visible in global policy frameworks. UNICEF State of the World's Children report current systems are structurally incapable of addressing neurodevelopmental delays at scale. What we need is a complete reinvention of early childhood intervention infrastructure. World Bank 2023 Health Systems Review. The geography of inequality: north versus south. The disparity is stark. This structural disparity reinforces a vicious cycle. Poverty breeds inaccessibility, which leads to educational dropout, caregiver burnout, workforce exclusion, and reduced national productivity. The failure to deliver early support to children with developmental challenges is not just a health issue, it is a national economic crisis, a gender equity barrier, and a human rights violation. UNESCO Education Equity Report Summary. The cost of inaction: every year of delay perpetuates. Despite well-meaning frameworks, the world has no universally accepted, independently audited, scalable model for addressing childhood developmental delays until now. Bharats validated breakthrough at a time when global institutions struggle to scale solutions for developmental delays. Bharat India has quietly engineered a transformation not through theoretical models, but through audited implementation, bipartisan state endorsement, and verified clinical outcomes at population scale. In a rare display of cross-party alignment, two politically opposed Indian state governments, Telangana, then governed by BRS, and Andhra Pradesh, then governed by YSRCP, independently conducted audits of a child development intervention framework pioneered by Pinnacle Bloom's network. The audits were not commissioned centrally, nor were they promotional exercises. Each state evaluated the model using its own health and education missions, audit teams, and local implementation infrastructure. The results, validated by public records and sealed audit summaries, revealed one of the most promising breakthroughs in modern pediatric public health. Dual-state audit outcomes. These outcomes were not self-declared, but government-audited, signed, and institutionally recorded, giving the model a level of legitimacy exceeding most Western pilot studies. The core innovations validated. The success is anchored in two patented, interoperable innovations: a first-of-its-kind developmental biomarker scoring system, analyzing 344 parameters to provide a standardized, objective, and real-time profile of a child's developmental strengths and needs. An AI-powered therapeutic engine that personalizes therapy plans in real time based on ability score inputs, caregiver feedback, progress metrics, and multimodal data: speech, behavior, cognition, motor, rural equity. Serving the unseen. Perhaps the most significant validation lies in where the intervention worked. This stands in contrast to traditional Western models that require high-cost urban infrastructure and highly specialized clinicians. Here, Bharat proved that equity is not charity, it's innovation applied at scale. No other pediatric developmental framework in the world today has been independently audited by 2 state governments, verified across 130 million citizens, and validated across 1 million sessions. Lead auditor, Andhra Pradesh State Health Mission. This isn't an Indian model. This is a globally deployable, evidence-anchored framework now ready for international adoption. The global roadmap for adoption. The question confronting the global community is no longer what works, it is how quickly can we adopt what has already been independently validated at population scale, with the Pinnacle framework now audited by 2 state governments, supported across 130 million citizens, and proven through 19 million therapy sessions. The time has come to shift from pilot projects to a structured international replication strategy. The 5-phase implementation plan. Phase 1: stakeholder alignment and policy onboarding tools, policy white paper, MAU templates, bilingual explainer decks, outcome institutional onboarding and mandate establishment. Phase 2: localization and cultural adaptation tools, language packs, community panel inputs, regional behavior profiles, outcome culturally rooted and context aware. Deployment. Phase 3: capacity building and workforce training tools, online learning system, Hansen boot camps, audit-based certifications, outcome local clinical capacity built for sustainable scaling. Phase 4: pilot implementation and independent evaluation tools, real-time data dashboards, neutral audit playbooks, outcome evidence-based adaptation proof across geographies. Phase 5: national scale-up and global integration tools, API integrated global dashboards, SD-linked reporting frameworks, outcome replicable, transparent, institutionally embedded global system, strategic partnership templates to accelerate global replication. Pinnacle's model includes pre-structured partnership frameworks, real-time global progress monitoring. A key pillar of the roadmap is transparency and visibility. Pinnacle's system enables no more guesswork, no more opaque claims. Global stakeholders will see what's working, where, and how fast in real time. The world doesn't need another pilot. IT needs a field-tested, government-audited, institutionally supported global delivery mechanism now fully documented and ready for adoption. The countdown clock. The world now stands at a decision point. The innovation is real. The audits are verified. The framework is scalable. But time and control may no longer be guaranteed. Germany's formal licensing proposal, a global turning point. In May 2025, the Federal Ministry of Health of Germany submitted a formal proposal to exclusively license Pinnacle's validated ability score and therapeutic AI systems for European Union-wide adoption. Offer amount $800 million, $850 million. Decision deadline September 30th, 2025. 90-day exclusivity window. Implication: once executed, the intellectual property may fall under EU jurisdiction with restricted global access, limited sovereignty, and region-specific customization. This isn't just a licensing offer. It's a strategic move from one of the world's most powerful public health systems to claim first rights on a model India developed, validated, and deployed at scale. Kenya's independent replication attempt. In parallel, Kenya has initiated replication efforts based on Pinnacle's kiosk and rural therapeutic delivery model, specifically the therapeutic AI kiosk framework validated in Telangana's underserved districts. While noble in intent, these replication efforts without centralized guidance or proper licensing, fragmented replication could dilute the credibility of what is currently the only dual government audited model in the world. strategic loss if the world waits if international stakeholders fail to act before September 30, 2025. The following global consequences may unfold. This isn't a window. It's a countdown. And once it closes, we may lose global parity in access, control, and cost forever. Senior Policy Advisor, Global Childhood Development Task Force. The decision timeline: a global call before the clock runs out. WHO, UNICEF, UNESCO, World Bank, and Ministries of Health now face a singular opportunity. This is the final moment to choose global empowerment over regional exclusivity. The time to act isn't later, it's before September 30, 2025. What the world must do now: the Pinnacle framework, validated across 19 million sessions, audited by 2 state governments, and backed by 214 crore in savings, is not a concept. It is an available, proven system. The moment now demands not more discussion, but coordinated global adoption through structured, auditable, and sovereign partnerships. Here is what each global stakeholder group must now do: immediate action, suggested language for resolution recognizing the dual state, audited clinical immediate action, suggested MAU clause model. Language: this MAU formalizes the collaboration between the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and Pinnacle Bloom's network to pilot and evaluate the ability score and therapeutic AI framework across region country, with the intent to establish a scalable, audited, and culturally adaptive national developmental intervention system. Immediate action, suggested partnership objective to support high-impact, audit verifiable child development interventions in low-resource settings by co-deploying Pinnacles. Rural validated therapeutic AI framework under the principles of transparency, equity, and cross-country comparability. Immediate action, suggested research collaboration statement. We invite institutions globally to participate in a multi-site, longitudinal validation study of ability score as a universal developmental assessment scale, correlating it with local diagnostics, school readiness, caregiver well-being, and economic outcome metrics. Immediate action, suggested CSR commitment statement. As part of our commitment to child welfare and inclusive development, we pledge support for audited, scalable frameworks like Pinnacle's Ability Score and Therapeutic AI, including rural outreach and community capacity building in the geographies we serve. A united global front by synchronizing these stakeholder actions under one verifiable, evidence-led model. The world can finally. The opportunity has already been validated. What's now required is action in time. Here is the final section, Section 8, Closing Statement: a moment in human history crafted to distill everything into a singular, unignorable choice. It closes with moral clarity, strategic consequence, and emotional truth ready for use in the highest policy and media corridors. A moment in human history. This is not a proposal. It is not a white paper. It is a mirror held up to the global conscience. Point 2 State governments Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, politically opposed and institutionally autonomous, audited an indigenous framework across 130 million citizens. They validated 1 million therapy sessions. They documented 214 crore in public savings, a G7 clinical success rate, and life-changing impact in some of the most underserved corners of the world. This isn't theory. This isn't marketing. This is evidence humanity has been waiting for, finally delivered. The framework Ability Score and Therapeutic AI now sits at a global inflection point. This is a moment that will be written into institutional memory, either as the day the world finally came together to act, or the day we knowingly let the window close. The audits have been completed. The cost of delay is documented. The global implementation roadmap is ready. The data is sovereign. The science is proven. The equity is built in. The urgency is real, and now, the choice is global action or inaction. Act now and transform the lives of millions of children while setting a precedent for how equity, science, and scalability can coexist. Delay and explain to the next generation why humanity chose geopolitics, pride, or inertia over solutions that were ready, proven, and waiting. This is not Bharat's moment alone. This is humanity's moment, and it is passing quickly. The countdown has already begun. Let history R.